What's up, reality junkie? This is your boy Ranu, and
Nijia.
yep, and we're here to discuss our opinions on last night SWV versus Escape versus. After seeing this, I had to call you up, Najee, because you're one of the few people that I can discuss music to, and you have your facts. You know music, And the whole time I was watching it, I kept thinking in my mind, what is she thinking? What is she thinking? So I'm gonna give my thoughts and then ask you what you think of it. All right, and then vice versa, we could trade off and on. Right. So for me, I think this was the best verses that I've seen thus far. Was it the perfect verses? No, but I think the imperfections made it well rounded. I loved the stage setup. You know, um, the production value was dope. But I think the Isley brothers set the stage high for the production value because theirs was dope. You know what I'm
saying? I enjoyed that one
thoroughly. Everybody from old school to young school enjoyed the Isley brothers.
And so Ernie Isley, the way he just slayed the heck out of that guitar, man, that blew my mind.
He slayed the guitar. Even Ronald at 95 years old got up there and blew. You know what I'm saying? The Earth, Wind, and Fire. 95. No, I'm being sarcastic.
Okay. I was like, man, he was.
But I think he's in his 80s, though. I think he's in his 80s. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Earth, Wind, and Fire, they got up there. You know what I'm saying? And blew. And it just the whole. To me, if you're gonna talk about a seamless show, that one was seamless from beginning to end. But so everybody was saying that they know that how Candy's a perfectionist. And they said they knew that production value was going to at least equal theirs, because Candy is not going to have step. You know what I'm saying? But for me, talking about it, so, okay, let me start saying this. I love both of them groups. Xscape and FWV, those are the groups I grew up to. That was my childhood. You know what I'm saying?
90s.
Yeah, but I thought that SWV was going to just kill Xscape, and me and my friends kept talking about it. I said, Xscape, they're good. That's a good battle. And I said, but they're not going to have a chance against SWV. But after watching it, I had to eat crow. You know what I'm saying? Xscape held their own from beginning to end. And I must say, the Xscape took round one for me. What do you think?
Yes. The acapella moment when they were just singing Tonight acapella, that blew me out of the water. I was looking at my computer and my phone, and I was like, they better go off.
Although, let me correct everybody. They kept saying acapella, but they still have music behind them. Acapella means no music. That was like the Quiet Storm version of it. You know what I'm saying?
I guess some people were saying acapella because that was one of the moments where they didn't have a backing track.
No, they did have a backing
to the music.
No, they had a backing part. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. But acapella means no music. Period.
No music, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They still have.
They did do an acapella moment when they cut one of Tiny's parts off, and they had an encore on that one.
Right. Yep.
They sound good.
But they started out. They started out from the back when they hit it running with Living in Vain. You know what I'm saying? They said their prayer.
And I was wondering why they were singing that song until I looked it up, and I found out they recorded that song.
Yeah, they did. They did.
I was like, wow.
So they set the tone. And if I was SWV, I wouldn't have came back with Endow Me. You know what I'm saying? I just wouldn't, because that's not an SWV song. That's a Coco song. And SW...
It's actually a Clark Sisters song that they covered.
Right, but it was on Coco's album. It was on her gospel album.
Her solo album.
And then she brought in 3 other girls. I believe it was Little Mo.
And Taj and Lily, they're not even on that song.
Exactly.
That
So
song
I
has
would
Fantasia, Faith Evans, who pretty
Little
much
Mo.
steals the show for me on that recording.
Right. Yeah. So I wouldn't have went with that. I see they was trying to stick with the gospel frame, but I would have went with another one of my hits. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because Escape just knocked it out the park. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They came prepared.
They came
They
prepared.
really came prepared. They were ready to perform.
But what I did notice, and I've been watching a lot of YouTube reviews, is that the energy was slightly off with Coco and off with Tiny, right? So, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody expected Tiny's attitude or energy to be off because of all the allegations that she's going through, right? So we were just
Mm-hmm.
happy that she showed up. But however, we didn't know why Coco was so off, and I'm gonna share you something from her Instagram page because she explained why she was off, because I guess she got so much heat because it was just noticeable that the first half something was not right. So let me share what she
Mm-hmm.
said, and then I'm gonna give my opinion on that. Chrome, can you see that? Can you see that on your screen?
Enlarge it a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, that's better.
Okay. So she said, last night as I'm preparing for Verzuz, a lady was shot outside my hotel window. To see and hear the 4 shots, see her laying on the ground, and all the blood was unbelievable. Then I get to the venue and had a really bad anxiety attack, literally crying and screaming. Yeah, y'all saw me looking uncomfortable and irritated during the first half, but if it wasn't for my son, I probably wouldn't have been out there. And then, oh, I guess I cut off the rest. But then she went on to say that she loved him, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there was a reason why she was off. You know what I'm saying? She
Yeah.
had literally just saw somebody get killed outside her window. But however, so my background is from the theater. I got
Mm-hmm.
family members who are famous in my family, and there's a saying this in the entertainment industry that no matter what's going on before you get on stage, once you get on stage, you need to leave it off the stage. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
the
The
show must go on.
show must go on. And remember, Aretha Franklin and James Brown and them guys literally did concerts when they were having riots outside
Mm-hmm.
of their concert venues. You know what I'm saying? So, but then the other thing is, Coco has also recently admitted that she's bipolar. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that might have been a little bit hard for her. You know. Then somebody else pointed out that one of the reasons. So okay, we already knew Tiny was walking into these allegations with Ti, right?
Right.
But do you remember how many times they messed up on her parts?
Yeah. I was kind of irritated about that because when they got to some of the songs that I remember from my childhood and her parts, they would just cut them off. And she would look at them like, why are you cutting me off?
Exactly. Yeah. So that would throw me off too. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But me being the person I am, I would get on the mic and be like, "Bro, you got to get it together, man, for real." And
Mm-hmm.
and I felt what the audience was
And I
feeling.
felt bad for her because all the girls in the group, they were looking at him like, why do you keep doing that?
Exactly.
So,
It's like he had it out for her. You know what I'm saying? And it only
mm-hmm.
happened to Tiny. You know what I'm saying? Especially, I really felt that moment when they were singing "Do You Want To," and they got to the part where Tiny was about to build. Cut.
Mm-hmm. They
You know
cut
what
it
I'm saying?
right off. I was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute.
And wasn't you waiting for that part?
Yeah. I was like, man, that's why I got my life when they did tonight. I was like, yes, we
And she
finally get to
blew it.
hear.
Yeah. And everybody online on Twitter and all that was saying they didn't know that Tiny could blow like that. And I was
Oh
saying, where
yeah.
I was saying, where have
I
you
learned
been?
that a long time ago when T.I. and Tiny did a reality show. And
Yeah,
I felt embarrassed because I forgot she was one of the members of Xscape because I used to own a Hype Hair magazine. You remember those? Those Hype
yeah,
Hair, black hair magazines? They
yeah,
had a picture of them in one of them. I think it was like a 2004 or 2005 issue.
yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, oh man, I forgot she was in this group.
So let's talk about the fashions, though. I think the women look absolutely stunning. What about you?
Yes.
And I think they look very
Yes.
age
Xscape
appropriate.
look fashion forward.
Well, I
They
think
look like
Escape.
they came to walk on the red carpet.
Yeah, but I think SWV look good with both of their looks too. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
feel, and then let's talk about Spinderella. She
Oh
looks
my
phenomenal.
God. How old is Spinderella? Because she was strutting her stuff, and I was like, man, she looks amazing.
She's in her late 40s, got to be in her early 50s. You know what I'm saying? But she
Man. And I
looked.
like that dress she was wearing. I was like, that is tight.
It was tight. Yep. And what I appreciated about the women is that they were high end, but it was very appropriate for all of their ages. You know what I'm saying? For
Mm-hmm.
real. Their makeup looked good, hairs
Yeah.
looked good. You know what I'm saying? I was here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Tiny had on like a romper. She had on like
Yeah.
shorts and a top, or it was just like made together like a romper. Everybody was slaying those heels.
That was,
SWV cracked me up because by the time they got to the back, they took them heels off. They were like, we got to go straight Bronx, New York.
so let's get into that. So you notice their energy was low, especially Coco first half, right? They had
Mm-hmm.
she act like she didn't want to get up. You know, they barely sang their songs up until they got to "If Only You Knew," and that's what to me that's what saved them going into the next
Mm-hmm.
round, right? But however, when they went backstage for a second round and changed into that hood gear, it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's like it transformed. It's like, okay, now we out of this couture clothes. You know what I'm saying? We're in
Right.
our hood gear. We can be who we are, and that's when the show started for me. In the words
Yeah.
of Simon Cowell.
Yeah.
Remember when he used to say that? Now the shows began. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can, and so I was on the phone with my sister and one of my really good friends, right at the time, and
Mm-hmm.
I kept saying to them that SWV need to come from behind that coffee table because once again, with my theatrical background, they teach you that when you stay behind stuff, you're blocking out the audience. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
notice most of the time when Escape saying they came from behind the thing, they either took
Yeah.
center stage or they came down, you know. And so when you do that, you're inviting the audience into your world. But there was a barricade behind SWV behind that coffee table. But do you notice when they came out that second time and they got on that floor? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They came alive and it just opened up, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I think that was therapeutic for Coco
Yeah.
because everybody was like, I think Lily or Taj, it was like, we have to make her sing. And I was like, is she that withdrawn? Because she doesn't seem like the type that would be withdrawn like that.
That's that
But
bipolar.
she came, she went off.
The second half, she went off. So, like I said, the first half for me was Escape. They took it, right? That
Mm-hmm.
second half, it was a tie to me because they went toe to toe. Escape came out there and did their thing. I mean, SWV kicked off the second half. They did their thing. Then Escape would come behind them, do their thing, and then they went toe to toe to toe to toe. What do you think?
Yeah, the second half I saw SWV, they came out, they would start off, and then I was like, okay, this is getting real good. And then Escape would come back and hit him again, and I would be like, oh my God, I can't keep up with the score. I was even looking in the chat to see is keeping score. And to me, they were so neck and neck, I couldn't even choose who won that second battle.
Well, I saw the after show with Timberland and Swiss, and he said that the
Did they
score
go live? Because I meant to watch that.
they went live, but it's still on. If you look it up on YouTube, you can see it. You know what I'm saying? And they also talked about how there were some issues at the beginning, you know, and then how SWV came alive during the second. They addressed that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I thought it was only me that noticed the energy shift,
Yeah.
but apparently everybody saw it. You know.
Yeah, because I like to read the comments on the live, and everybody was like, "What's wrong with Coco? We know what's going on with Tiny. What's wrong with Coco?" So
Right. That part. Yeah. But you know that saying, they say it's not how you start, it's how you finished. And they
yes,
finished strong. You know
they
what I'm
finished
saying?
strong.
Were you
And
dancing?
that just the nostalgia of it is like back when groups had vocals.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody in this group, no disrespect to Little Mix or any of these girl groups that are out right now, but they cannot touch Xscape, SWV, In Vogue, even Destiny's Child vocally. Like that's
And
when we
but how
had
about this?
vocals.
I go back and watch the old TLC performances, right? Now
Mm-hmm.
they're not singers like SWV, TLC, and Vogue or nothing like that. But let me tell you where I give it to them. They sounded like their records. You know what I'm
Yes, they
saying?
did.
And that's
Yes,
the
they
only
really
thing
did.
I want to see. I want to see, and like everybody talk about Ashanti, right? But what I appreciate about her is Ashanti gives you what she gives you. On live, she's gonna sound like a Ashanti record. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I cannot stand, like you said, the groups that can't even sound, can't reduplicate their sound live. You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah,
hurts the mess out of me.
that hurts me because I'm like, how can you perform this song without knowing how to do it live?
That
And it's
part.
like, it's just disgusting. Sometimes it irritates people to call people like that singers because they don't know how to sing live.
Yeah.
And
So everybody's talking about who had the most hits, who played the most hits, or who did better with that, right? And for
mm-hmm,
me, I'll say it was a tie, right? So where
right.
SWV messed up for me is they kept pulling out these album songs that was just personal to them. And I'm an SWV fan, right? But some of the songs they
Mm-hmm.
played, I said, I've never heard this before. You know what I'm saying?
I thought it was me because I said the same thing. It caught me off guard because I was like, and I noticed that everybody wanted them to play Weak and Rain all the time because I thought they were going to play it when Taj was starting to singing it to herself. And I'm like, no, I guess they're going to say that for the finale or halfway to the finale.
Which I feel like that was a good move, right? But if this is me, if you're gonna play an album cut, play an album cut that everybody. Now that's where Escape got them on. You know what I'm saying? Because they play album
Mm-hmm.
cuts, but everybody knows Work Is Slow. Everybody knows
Yeah.
the fastest, the softest. What is it? The softest place on earth. You know what I'm saying? They played the
Mm-hmm.
album cuts that we
I
knew,
thought that was beautiful.
gorgeous. You know what I'm saying?
Just beautiful.
But SWV kept playing these songs, and I said, I've never heard that before. You know what I'm saying? I kept saying, I heard that before. So if I was Timberland and Swiss, I would have in the rules, you guys, stop making it personal to yourself. You know, the fans don't want to hear these songs that we've never heard before. You know what I'm saying? If you're
Mm-mm.
gonna pick the album cuts, pick the album cuts the radio played. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So to
And
me,
don't they have like one or two fan favorites that they pick?
that first album had was filled with album cuts. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That first album, to me, I think that was their most successful album. You know what I'm saying? And so
Mm-hmm.
they could have picked any song off that first album, you know, and played it. The second album, they had a song on their second album, I believe, with the Lily led called "Don't Waste My Time," you know, and she was the whole lead. That was they played that a lot, you know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
everybody was shocked during that time that there was a song that somebody led besides Coco. You know what I'm saying? There's so many more
Mm-hmm.
album cuts they could have picked, but they kept. And just like when Latasha picked that Thug song that didn't nobody know. You know what I'm saying? Girl, just because it was a good anthem and it was personal to you, I didn't. Did you remember that song? The Thug
Mm-mm.
harmonies. Yeah.
No, I forgot all about that.
So also where I feel that they went
I think
wrong.
that's when I kind of was like, I don't think she should have chose that because not a lot of people know about that song. Not a lot of people even know that Latasha was trying to have a solo career at one point.
Right, that
So,
part. Yeah. Um, I think Candy played too many songs that she wrote on and not sang on, and I think that became unfair. I could see you playing a song that you're a feature on, you know what I'm saying? But
mm-hmm,
the No Scrubs and the Bills, that had nothing to do with Escape, you know what I'm saying? So
mm-mm,
for them two reasons, I feel like hit for hit, it was a tie. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? If you want to talk about judge them on energy, I feel like Escape won that, because they kept their
yeah.
energy the
They
same,
were just ready.
from beginning to end, and SWV have to
The
catch up.
only one that had a lot of energy out of SWV was Taj. She was hyped the whole entire time.
Was Taj. Yep, she was. Yep. And then Lily was like in the middle, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then Coco had to recharge herself. But when she recharged that battery, she recharged it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, you know what else I want to talk about? I'm sick of people saying Candy cannot sing. You know what I'm saying? I think
Oh
Candy
my
has a
goodness.
different tone. She has a different
Yes.
tone, you know what I'm saying, from
Mm-hmm.
anybody. But if you take Candy away from Escape, Escape would not be who they are. Her tone
Mm-mm.
rounds out their sound. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's been proven that when Escape tried to do it as a trio, that wasn't nobody vying for it. It was like something was missing. But then on the same token, when Candy tried to come out solo, wasn't nobody vying for it. But when you put them guys
And
together,
you know why? That's one of the reasons why I thought Escape versus SWV. I get where they're going with this because Coco tried to go solo. That wasn't as successful as she hoped. But at
it
the
wasn't
same
successful
time,
at all.
I thought about it and I was like, I think In Vogue might have been a better fit though
For who?
for Escape. Because people forget Terry Ellis out of In Vogue, she tried to go solo.
And Don kept trying to go solo too.
Yeah,
Don's
and it's like
Don, not Jay.
Maxine,
Don's
Don,
still trying to go
ugh,
solo.
oh my God. And that's a perfect example because when it's just Cindy, Terry, and Ronna, they do not have that same unmatched four-part harmony. Their blend is off.
Right.
They don't sound the same. But when you have all the original members, they are unmatched.
Yep.
It's
And then
just
you miss
magical.
Don. Then you miss Don and Maxine on the leads that they did. You know what I'm saying? Every time I
Mm-hmm.
see them singing a song that they weren't leading on, it just don't sound right to me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-mm. And it doesn't sit well with me because I'd be like, I respect Ronna, but I don't like her singing Don or Maxine's parts.
Right. You want
She
to say
just
like,
doesn't
Mama?
have that old school swag that Maxine has, and I love that about her.
Even with Boys to Men, you guys, I miss um Nate. Ain't it Nate, the one that's not in it no more?
Yeah.
I miss his. I miss
I
his.
think he
His.
has MS, is what I remember. He's
Well,
sick.
when you see him live, though, he says that's not why he's not in it. He says they pushed him out. He done did a lot of lives. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, I did not know that.
Go Google it. You know what I'm saying? But what people don't understand, there's very few groups that when a person goes solo that make it. You know what I'm saying? Very very few. You can count
Mm-hmm.
them on one hand. But people, we want to hear that sound. You know what I'm saying? A sound that they created. Me
Mm-hmm.
personally, nah, I'm not gonna say that. So I loved the first Destiny Child, but then I gained to. I think Michelle, once they switched it up, she was necessary to continue because what I like that Kelly and Beyonce sound so much the same. You know what I'm saying? So much alike.
Yes, that's why I could. People used to get mad at me when I would say, well, the Survivor album, that was the album to launch Beyonce's career because Dangerously in Love, that song was on the Survivor album.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
So
it
it's on
was.
there. And
Yep.
she used that one as the title track for her solo album.
But don't you feel like Michelle broke up the monotony of Kelly and Beyonce's voice?
Yeah, Michelle added something that was needed because that's where Latoya Luckett, people don't give her enough credit. But if you listen to the song Say My Name, Latoya is the first voice you hear. So
I
it's
thought
like
it,
you
that ain't
hear her
Beyonce.
voice and then you hear Kelly coming underneath her, creating that harmony while
Oh, the
Beyonce is taking
harmonies.
lead. And Latavia was always a low singer. She's like the Candy of the group.
Right.
She sings low. So that blend, it
But
took a
Candy
while
got
for them
range.
to blend right with that.
But Candy got range though, because she could sing that bass, but she also could sing mid and she could hit that whistle note. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. I didn't know she could go that high. I
You
was
gotta
like,
listen.
wow.
You
And
gotta
when
listen to
Lily
their
said that,
records.
I was like, wow, okay.
She don't hit that whistle note on a lot of their songs. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't know that was Lily that hit that whistle note on Downtown. You know what I'm
Me
saying?
neither.
But
And she said that I guess after having children or hormones, her voice changed down to a tenor.
but
And
I
I was
remember.
cracking up about that because that does happen.
Did you know this though? And she said this on when they did their reality show. She said on a lot of the songs it's her doing all the background, and then they just brought Coco in just to fill a note. You know what I'm saying? And if
Wow.
you go and listen to the first record and then listen to their records after that, you could tell that their harmonies are different. You know what I'm saying? You could
Mm-hmm.
tell when all of them are on it versus when it's just Lily, or versus there's some where they just got Coco doing background. You know what I'm saying? And there's
Mm-hmm.
distinctively a difference.
Mm-hmm. Because I don't know, like that battle was monumental for R&B. People often love female singers, but they kind of overshadow the male singers. You got a couple of male singers out there that put out love songs and stuff, but they're all singing about the same thing. Like back in those times, you had songs with a message. You also had songs that made you feel like you wanted to fall in love, and you don't really have that anymore.
This is what I feel is also missing too, is an artistry, right? So back
Yes.
when I was growing up, even all the way through the '90s, like you heard SWV and SWV and Escape, they both had two different sounds. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
TLC had their own sound. Boys to Men had their own sound, different from Jodeci. You know what I'm saying? These
Mm-hmm.
days, everybody sounds the same when they sound like that auto tune robot. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
All the music
My
sounds
mother
just.
can't stand it.
I can't stand it either. I don't listen to
She was
mainstream
like,
music.
"What is that? I don't do that auto-tune mess." And I'm like, I can't stand it either.
Yeah. And so it makes everybody sound like robots.
And then you
And
got artists like her who use auto-tune and she doesn't even need it. I'm
uh,
like, why would you use auto-tune when you actually can sing live?
that's why I haven't became such a fan of her, because everybody loves her, but she sounds just like everybody
Everybody
out
else.
there. You know what I'm saying? The last new groups, women that I was in love with was Kiki Wyatt and Fantasia
Oh my God.
and the Jasmine Sullivans. You know what I'm saying? Their age group.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They all. I think those was the last females that was actually singing, and they didn't need
Mm-hmm.
that auto tune stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel like around maybe the mid 2000s, 2004, 2005, you started to see a lot of artists that were about the look, but not about the talent. But then you have this show, American Idol, who introduces us to Fantasia and Jennifer Hudson. And then after that, you get Jasmine
Kelly
Sullivan and all that. And
Kelly
it's like,
Clarkson, Carrie
yes,
Underwood.
yes, they had they really found some good vocalists.
They did.
And they set the bar pretty high. It's a
Yep.
shame that some of them wasn't marketed right, but they can sing their tails off.
Sing their tails off. And that's what I feel like is really missing with these young folks, you know. And when I
You
try to
can't
do
even say there's a vocal trinity out right now.
period, and the best out there right now, I would have to say is our how you pronounce her name? Artie Grandy. What's that girl's name?
Ariana Grande.
Yeah, her. You know what I'm saying? Now she could sing, but what
Hmm.
I'm missing is the soul. because she can hit
Yes.
all the notes, but I don't feel it.
Hmm.
The passion coming from her. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what's crazy is I didn't recognize that part until her, Mariah Carey, and Jennifer did that collaboration.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, Mariah has the soul and the power and can do anything with her voice.
But it's
Ariana
the
can do what Mariah can do, but she lacks the soul.
she lacks the soul. You know what
And
I'm
that's
saying?
where Jennifer comes in with the soul and the power to add
Mhm.
to it. So I was like, I get why she chose these two because these two represents different sides to her own voice.
Yeah.
But Ariana lacks that soul. She lacks that emotion.
After that mini series with Aretha Franklin, I have really went back and I've been dove into the hit. I've always been a fan, right? I've always told people that Whitney's my favorite singer, and then Aretha, right? Because I was
Right.
Whitney's my generation. But I went back and listened to Aretha. Aretha was dope from beginning to
To
end,
end.
and
Yes.
what she was able to do is so from the cigarettes and the drinking, her tone changed, right? But she was
Mm-hmm.
able to use that technique and sing in a whole different way and be dope.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You listen to them last records, she was dope to the end. You know what I'm saying? Whitney was able to do that up until
I
like the
mean, I
last
got
two.
I got a lot of her books.
Yeah. Do they talk about that?
I love her so much. I love Riri.
Do they talk about how she started using technique toward the end when her voice started changing?
No. Mm-mm.
But
But
you
in
can
these
hear it.
books, it has everything.
But you can
Like
hear it.
this book focused more on her music career, but also you get to learn all kinds of new things too. Like, for example, when I started reading her autobiography, I did not know that she was a part of a group that James Cleveland was putting together when she was small. And I didn't know
Okay.
she toured with the Tommies. Like, if you know gospel, Reverend Milton Bronson from Chicago, he had the Tommies choir, which one of the lead singers from that choir was Kim McFarland. And so she toured with the Tommies, Roberta Martin, Sally Martin singers, Mahalia Jackson. And I was like, dang, they left all this stuff out of the series.
Did you hear about this? That when she and Luther went to the studio for the Jump to It album, I believe that's what it was. That they argued the whole time because because she was used to doing a one and two takes, and then
Yeah.
at the most they said she might give you a third take, right? But normally
Mm-hmm.
that's what but everybody said her vocals are so brilliant, so nobody tripped. Luther is a perfectionist, right? And they
Yes.
said that Luther
Mm-hmm.
wants you to do it over and over and over and over. And she said, "Look, man, I'm not doing this no more, right?" So I heard that they would get into knock down, drag out arguments, and then she would leave with her cursing out Luther, and she leaving out the studio, and Clive would have to come in and be the middleman. But however, Jump to It was her comeback hit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because before that, she had released several records that were flops. You know what I'm saying? But Jump to It
Yeah.
brought her back into the mainstream. You know what I'm saying? And if you
Mm-hmm.
listen, I went and listened to that album, and all the songs that Luther produced. It sounds like you can hear Luther singing them songs. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and he reminds me of a Babyface producer because you could tell that Babyface makes his people sing the song exactly like him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's a lot of stuff that series left out, and I follow one of Aretha Franklin's nieces, and she didn't take it pretty well. Not family.
Well, you can only give so much, right? So
I
I
think it was
wasn't,
because the way they portrayed the family in a way, like they made the sisters seem like they were rivalries and
but that
stuff,
was true
but
though.
that was wrong.
No, it was
People
not.
forget Carolyn wrote a lot of her hits.
She wrote a lot of her hits, but the one thing that was accurate, and they fell out. And I wrote, and this is in Aretha's biography and other biography. When Curtis Mayfield first offered Caroline Sparkle, Aretha went behind her back and took it. You know what I'm saying? And they fell out for
Yeah.
years behind that. And then Aretha always would do little slick things to make sure that they never came up. So that part was true. And my mama used to tell me about that before these books and stuff came out. You
Mm-hmm.
know? So I'm not mad about the story they told when it comes to that. I'm mad that I feel like they picked the wrong person to play the role. Now
Yes.
she played that role excellent, but she wasn't playing Aretha. Whatever
No.
role she was playing
She
wasn't Aretha.
didn't. It wasn't like you were watching Andra Day transform into Billie Holiday
Right.
or Danielle Brooks transforming into Mahalia Jackson. You just
Right.
saw Cynthia singing Aretha songs.
And trying to sing it. And although Cynthia's a brilliant singer, she's not a Aretha Franklin singer. I really look forward to hearing Jennifer Hudson's interpretation, because now she doesn't sound like Aretha, but she has the same inflections that Aretha does.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And
Because I was
Aretha,
wondering, I was like, at first I was a little nervous, and I love Jennifer Hudson. She's one of those singers that impacted my childhood, especially when Dreamgirls came out. Everybody wanted to try out for a talent show to sing those songs. And so she's a talent that I think some people underestimate a lot. And I don't know why. But
well, don't you have a feeling
but
she's gonna kill this role?
yes. Because people been calling Jennifer and Fantasia, like, they would nickname Fantasia Baby Patty, and then they'll nickname Jennifer Hudson Baby Riri. So they've been getting that comparison for the longest, and I think she met her match with that one, because if you look at a lot of Aretha Franklin's old footage of her singing songs like Running Out of Fools, the power right there that she has is very similar to Jennifer Hudson. And she comes from that same background of gospel and Chicago. So she definitely saw her young self in her.
And the way they approach their notes are similar. The way they approach the way they're going to sing the note. And once again, guys, I'm not saying that Jennifer Hudson sounds like Riri, because she don't. But her technique is
very
very
similar to
similar.
Aretha. It's very similar to her. You got to listen to Aretha from the Columbia days when she's singing songs like Skylark, or, you know, all those jazz albums that she's done. You can hear Jennifer singing all those type of songs, and it's crazy. And I was like, man, I couldn't see it at first, but now I understand why she chose her now.
Oh, to me, it made perfect sense. Perfect sense to me. Now, when she said Halle Berry, that didn't make no sense, because she wanted
That didn't make
Halle
sense
Berry
to me either.
It didn't make sense to Halle Berry either. She turned it down.
She was like, I can't do you justice, so I'm a pass on that one.
Right, that part. Yeah, but it makes perfect sense to me. Jennifer Hudson playing her, and then seeing the pictures coming out now, they even gave her that same look. You know what I'm saying? When I kept watching
and sometimes I wonder, were the producers of Nat Geo watching this movie or watching every move that they were doing? Because I remember, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think MGM put out their trailer first. It's not the official trailer, but it's like a trailer to hold people's attention. So when they release the official trailer, they can go ahead and go on with the promo of the movie. But I was like, why is this trailer so much similar to the other trailer?
You know what I kept laughing about when I kept watching the miniseries is they didn't make Aretha get fat until the very end. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I kept saying, so when is she gonna gain weight? When is she gonna gain weight? And they waited to the very, very end to put her in a fat suit. You know what I'm saying?
And
you gotta show.
Didn't they put her heavy when her father got shot and killed? I was confused on that.
It was toward the end.
I was like, she started to gain weight, but she wasn't heavy until around the late 90s, early 2000s.
No, she started gaining her weight in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? And then she lost weight.
But Sparkle was in the 70s and she was thin.
I think she lost the weight for that.
Oh,
and they talked about that though too. If you go and watch old interviews, yeah, because I remember seeing interviews about Sparkle, and they kept talking about how she lost weight, and then she even started wearing skimpier clothes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then when the 80s came back, then she started gaining her weight back, and then she became the Aretha that we know of. You know what I'm saying? But
I think her weight always went up and down. I think from what I've learned, I think she was an emotional eater.
Yeah, she was.
So whatever was going on, she would have to put on this face as if, Yes, I'm Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, but inside she was going through a lot.
But can you imagine she got pregnant at 11, had her first child at 12? You know what I'm saying? That woman went through a lot. And then it's been rumored that the first child was
I
by
don't
the dad.
know. We will never know what happened. We'll
Right, but you know the rumor
never
was,
know what happened.
oh,
I
you don't
mean,
want
they
me to
said
say
she
what
was
the,
raped, and then that, from what I've
well,
got,
she was obviously raped because she was 11. So that's rape right there. That's statutory rape.
mm,
Yeah, for real. That I don't give a care.
mm,
Even if she said you could do it to me, a man having a child with somebody that's under 18 or some places 17, that's rape. You know what I'm saying? So
mm-hmm,
whether she consensually said, let's have sex, she was raped at 11. And then the next age was 13 because she had her next child at 14. But the rumor
mm-hmm,
was that it was either, some said it was by her dad and some said it was by Sam Cooke. You know what I'm saying? But they never talked about who the child was
mm-mm.
by.
Was
And
Sam Cooke in the series?
they didn't show him per se, but do you remember that when she and that girl snuck out, they went to um they went to go see Sam Cooke, and then they
Mm-hmm.
alluded that Aretha and Sam hooked up, but they never showed it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's actually true. Sam was, I think Sam had to be around 25, 26, around that time. And she was really, really young.
She
And
was
she had a
11.
crush on Sam Cooke, child. She loved us some Sam Cooke. Even if you go and watch some of her interviews that she did later on in life before she passed, she would still blush like a little girl when they talk about Sam Cooke. It would be so funny but cute.
Oh, did you ever hear? So there was a rumor way back in the 70s when she was married to Glenn Turner that she caught him in the bed with her son. Did you ever hear that?
No, that's new to me.
Yep. My mama told me that like way before it became a popular rumor. You know what I'm saying? They said that's the real reason why she broke up with him.
Mm. Mm.
Yep. Ask some older grown people. That's a big rumor about Aretha.
Mm. Man, that will probably traumatize you a little bit.
Right, that part. Your son and your spouse in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't veer it off from verses. So let's sum it up. So to me, I
Oh,
say
before we sum this up, do you have
okay.
any ideas of who should go next? Because I saw people in the chat talking about artists that they were playing, like the DJ was playing Mary J. Blige, the DJ was playing Fantasia and all, and they were like, who Fantasia could battle? Who Mary J. Blige could battle? So,
Mary J. Blige is a hard one because Mary J. Blige is she created a whole genre within herself. You know what I'm saying? Some people say Toni Braxton, but no, Toni is good, and she's a legend. But Mary J. Blige have morphed into an icon, legendary status. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
So I'm not too I I said maybe Missy can go against Mary J. if we're talking about hits. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
But I can't see anybody. I really can't think of anybody in Mary J's genre. But I would love to see Destiny Child versus TLC. I think that would be a good one. Everybody keeps throwing out Usher and Chris Brown. I think that would be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
If they're gonna do Legends of the Past, I would love to see Biggie versus Tupac, and or the only person I feel like that can go against Mariah would be Whitney. Only person.
Yeah.
You know what
But
I'm saying?
I thought about Mariah and Toni Braxton too, because
Oh,
Mariah went into that butterfly stage where she started to become more sensual.
let
Her
me tell you
songs
why.
became more sensual.
Let me
Toni
tell
has
you
a
why.
sensual vibe to it. And people
Let me,
forget Toni has songs that were very Whitney-esque when it comes
but
to Unbreak My Heart and Love Brought Me Home last night.
but remember, is it was supposed to be based off a hit for hit. Mariah Carey has the second amount of number one hits, only behind the Beatles. She has 19. The Beatles have 20. Mariah Carey is number one as far as the females. No female artists, Barbara Streisand, Madonna, Janet Jackson, have as many number ones as her, and she's and guess who's second behind her?
Michael Jackson?
Women wise.
Oh, okay.
But this woman done, the woman who I'm about to name has surpassed Michael by one hit.
Hmm. Beyonce?
Nope.
Rihanna?
Rihanna have 14 number one pop hits. You know what I'm saying? Um, I,
Mm-hmm.
I think Beyonce only have like 7. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Rihanna surpassed Whitney, Madonna, all of them, and they're saying that if she keeps going, that she's gonna surpass Mariah eventually because um Rihanna have amassed her number ones in a shorter frame of time than Mariah. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
everybody's waiting for this new album. Everybody,
Yeah.
and she's taking her time by putting it out. And I know she's gonna get a couple number ones. You know what I'm saying? At
Mm-hmm.
least a
It's
couple. And
supposed to
that's
be like a reggae dance hall album. So I
yeah.
can't wait to hear that.
So with Mariah, the only artist I could see her going against. So if you're saying living would be Madonna, to me, Madonna's the only one who could go hit for hit with Mariah if you're gonna pull out catalog. You know what I'm saying? But if you're gonna go dead wise, I would love to see a Mariah versus Whitney. I think that would be flawless.
Yeah, that's a verses that we will all continue to dream about because Whitney was gone too soon.
Yeah,
She
but they
was
could have
gone
a.
way too soon.
So when they're to me, if I was to orchestrate versus with people that's dead, I would have their estate or somebody that's close represent them. You know what I'm saying? And come up with a
Yeah,
real
like
good
I think like Donna Summer's estate, her daughters are controlled of that.
right. Yeah.
And Tina Marie, her daughters control of that. So you
And
can
yeah,
still
and
have
yeah,
a verses with them. You just got to get in touch with their family.
exactly. And wouldn't Prince versus Michael Jackson just be flawless?
Oh my God. Well, the Jacksons own everything. So they beat the system.
No, the Jacksons don't. So let me
Like
tell
the
you what happened.
Jacksons have, I think the estate goes to his mom
No,
and
let me tell you what she did. So once he died, she sold back his publishing to Sony and all of them. You know, she said she didn't want to have nothing to do with it. So now I believe it's Sony and Universal that got back to publishing. And there's a theory that he was really
hold on
killed.
1 second.
All right. Yeah, I love talking to her, guys. She is so knowledgeable and she really,
Mom,
really
recording.
knows her history.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. And it's cool when you can talk to younger folks that really, really know their history. I was just telling the audience how much I love talking to you because you really know your facts and you know your history. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially for
Yeah.
your young age.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
I'm only 29.
that's young. But I got you by 20 years. Yeah. And I've talked to a lot of young people in their 20s and they're not as knowledgeable as you are about your music. You know what I'm saying? And I like that you can quote your facts. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
Mhm.
I think it comes from my upbringing. Like my father was a musician, my mom sung in the church choir. Gospel music was huge in our household, and we loved like old school R&B. So whatever my parents was listening to at the time, I was listening to.
Okay.
And
Do you
so,
sing too?
yeah, I can. My
You
mom is
know,
a soprano. My father was a tenor, and I'm in the middle.
all right. Did you guys all used to sing together, harmonize with each other?
Yeah, my mom did me like sort of like when Whitney was young. My mom would sing with me in the room and she would train me vocally. She would record us singing together on a cassette tape. And I
Mhm.
wonder where those cassette tapes are at now. I haven't found them yet. But and I would often go in my room because that's where my dad would practice his bass all the time. And so that
Well,
really I was like, that's what made me were like, I want to be a musician. I want to be just like that.
you know when one day I'm gonna have to hear you sing, and then you know if you can sing, I'm gonna get you on the track. For real. But why do I have a feeling that you can sing just by your knowledge of music? You know what I'm saying? I really think you can sing.
Yeah,
So
I need the right equipment
no,
because
you don't. You just
I'm
need the right.
pricing like a ring light, and I'm thinking about upgrading my phone because I like the new Samsung that's out now, which has a clearer version. of the camera. The camera was crystal clear. But I don't know which one. People were like, the iPhone may be better or the Samsung.
Or
Weird.
you just need the right producer to write for you and then bring you into the studio and record you. Ding. So throw out some verses that you would like to see and why.
um, I would definitely like to see Mint Condition and Tony.
That's a good one. I'm
That
there. I'm here
that would
for it.
blow my mind. I love Mint Condition, and Tony is one of my favorite groups of the '90s,
Yeah, I'm here for
and
it.
that would match really well. I would like to see that, and I know a lot of people want to see Lil Kim and Foxy. I don't know if that's gonna happen or not, but
I would love to see, and everybody says no when I say no, when I say it, but I would love to see Little Kim, a trio, Little Kim, Nicki Minaj, and Cardi B. I would love to see their verses, and just for the fact that they all rivaling against each other, and now I feel like they all, including Cardi B, got enough hits where they can go toe to toe with each other.
that would be very interesting.
But every time I say that, everybody be
It
like,
was
nah,
just
nah,
very
nah.
interesting because Nikki sound when she first came out, she sounded like a pop artist. But before that, people don't understand why there was so much controversy why she was going pop. Is because when she was on the Come Up DVD, she was more hardcore rap.
Yeah,
And so she went from hardcore rap to a pop star, sounding like Katy Perry. And it just seemed off. And we were like, this ain't the Nikki that we remember, man. What happened?
yeah.
So I kind of wonder, does she have enough hardcore rap songs to compete with Kim? Because Kim was a beast in the '90s.
Oh shit, dude! I
Y'all
remember.
missed out on Kim in the prime, man.
Remember that song "Shit" on them.
Yeah,
That
I remember
song.
that.
Um,
The
um.
only thing I think that people will be drawn into, and I hate to say it like that, is the fact that those two have had a beef for so long that they're at a point where, well, Kim is at a point where she just like, I'm over it. The girl can talk to me whenever she wants.
She
I'm
don't even
open,
want.
but I'm over it. It
She
don't
don't
have to
even.
happen. I'm not gonna trip if it happens or not.
No, check this out. I had tweeted that on Twitter, and Lil Kim actually answered me back and said it would never happen.
No.
Yeah.
And
And then,
it's because they know how Nikki is. Nikki's a Sagittarius. She's a fire sign. She's very stubborn, and it's going to be hard for her to settle it.
but that would
It's
be.
almost like a Jay-Z and Nas situation. It took them the longest time to see them together again.
But do you know how much money they would make if they did that? That would probably be that would break records with the verses. You know what I'm saying? For real, everybody would tune in just to see how they would act. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Yeah.
And you might
Sometimes,
as well like include not only Cardi, but you got to include Foxy. You got to include even Remy, because all of those ladies, if we're talking about drama wise and history wise, all those ladies have connections. Like Cardi, unfortunately, got stuck in the middle because once she came out with a big hit, that's when Nicki started throwing the jabs at her.
but this is what I don't understand about that. So Nikki just went through that with Little Kim. So why would you do the same thing that Little Kim did to you? You know what I'm saying? If she should have been the
Right,
bigger person and the
right.
no brainer. If I was in Nikki's ear, I would say to her, Nikki, get on a track with Cardi. That needs to be your next song. Do a feature with Cardi. You know what I'm saying? She's your
Hmm.
next upcoming thing. You know what I'm saying? The
I think
dudes,
Nicki just got comfortable. I mean, she got comfortable. She got so comfortable within her ego that she thought that it doesn't matter. I'm still the queen of rap, but she has to remember she was the only one in mainstream allowed to shine a spotlight on. So she had no competition at the time. And she got comfortable with that. She thought that y'all can continue to throw jabs where it's subliminally or straight up blunt shot. And nobody's gonna come at me because I'm the queen of rap. That was just her mentality.
but
And it
then
got crushed
she
when she
didn't study
barked into the
music.
wrong tree.
If you study music, all great artists have a run and it's usually 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Usually 10
Yeah.
years. And then most of them,
But I'm saying it she could have had a longer run. She was just comfortable with her spot. She was very comfortable with
but
that.
eventually it would have ended, right? And
Mm-hmm.
but the iconic ones, such as the Aretha's, the Aretha, James Brown, Isley Brothers, LL had a long run too. You know what I'm saying? What they know how they'll have their period where they're just having flops, right? But then they'll reinvent themselves and have another period where they have their comebacks. You know what I'm saying? Now that's very rare. You know what I'm saying? But there's a handful of them that have done that. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like that once Nicki reign was starting to come to an end, and she would have collaborated with Cardi and collaborated with some of the other girls coming up, that it would have extended her career, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think another thing that is a weakness when it comes to Nicki is that she lacks growth as an artist image wise.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's still stuck in this Barbie phase. And I think if she would have came back and reinvented herself and not try to be Nicki Minaj, the Barbie, the black Barbie.
Like Lady Gaga did. You see how she came out of that
Yes.
crazy stage? She had to do that to elevate her career. She couldn't have stayed crazy like that forever.
No.
Madonna
She
is the
did
perfect
an amazing
example.
job with that. I got her jazz album with Tony Bennett. She sounds phenomenal.
Yeah. Madonna is the blueprint for reinventing yourself.
Yes.
Seriously, all people need to look at how Madonna reinvented herself for years. Probably like 20 years. I think Madonna had like a 20-year run. You know what I'm saying? For real. Okay, so we going on almost an hour, so we about to wrap this up. What's your final? Oh, yeah. What's your final words you want to say? Round one and round two. Who do you think got it for the
Round one,
SWV?
I think Xscape won round one. Round two, they were neck and neck with me. They were a tie.
I completely agree with you on that. But all in all, would you say is one of the best verses that we saw?
Yes. And I'll say it again. I like the R&B verses better than the hip hop ones.
Yeah.
Like the R&B ones, I just love that. Live instruments and the vocals, it's everything.
So with you saying that, I don't think that with the R&B ones and even the rap ones, because they're starting to perform live too, it's not, we can't go back to just sitting down playing records. We want to see you perform now. You know what I'm saying? The bar has been set high, and we can't go back. But SWV and Xscape, if you guys are watching this, we truly want to say we love you. And thank you for entertaining us for 3 hours last night, because we was truly entertained.
Yes, we were. Y'all killed that.
And on that note, this is your boy Ron New.
And Nijia.
And we want to say we're out.